we talking about? One Dark Window.
And I came prepared. I actually have so many notes. Look at
Oh
this.
gosh, of course you did. Okay,
I
no.
came so prepared.
Okay, this is reading between the lines. We're both emotionally unstable, but that's okay because we're doing it together. So go team.
Welcome to Reading Between the Lines. Today we're talking about One Dark Window by, I don't even know how to say her name. Rachel Gillig? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So One Dark Window and Two Twisted Crowns. It's a duology, and Emma and I kept pushing it off for like months. We were like, we want to read this, we want to read this. And then we just were like, nah, we're gonna read this instead. Nah, we're gonna read this instead. Which was stupid of us. So we just kept pushing it off. And then I think you were the one who said, I'm gonna start reading it first, or was it me? I don't
I
remember.
think it was you.
Yes, because then you started reading and got ahead of me. And I was like, nah, you're not gonna beat me.
Which that's so funny because every single time we read like a book at the same time, right? And I start before you, you're like, oh my god, no, like don't read before me. And I'm like, dude, I can get like 3/4 of the way done, like ahead of you, and you'll still beat me. You'll still finish it before me. Like I don't know why you always complain because I'm like, I'm trying to get a head start, and my head start won't even get me very far because like the next like hour you're gonna be like, oh, I'm actually on like page 400. What page are you on? Oh, 200. Oh, okay.
Dude, okay. I was stressed because the first book is only like 350 pages or something. And I had read a chapter and then I like put it down and life got busy and I stopped looking at it. And you texted me and you're like, I'm on page 157 or something. And I was like, that's not happening. So then I was like, I'm gonna sit down and read it. I read the entire thing in a day. And then started the second book and read half of it that same day.
Yeah. So I don't know why you complain because this happens every single time. I read a book before you. Like I start a book before you, and you always finish it before me every single time.
Listen, I get so nervous when you're like, I'm doing nothing today but reading. I'm like, oh God, she's going to read like 5 books and I'm going to be behind and I'm going to look like an idiot because I have no books, like time to read any of these books.
No, but the thing is when you're busy, I'm usually not. And when I'm busy, you're usually not. So it kind of just like balances out, I feel like.
It evens out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, so we both kind of, I mean, you finished it that day, didn't you? Or you finished it the next day? I can't remember. It was like a 48-hour spurt that we read it.
Yeah, I think I finished it that way. And then I don't know. It didn't take me very long to finish it. Like I read it when I could. And the only times I wasn't reading it is when I was busy.
Well, I feel like we both finished the series though within like a weekend.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like we were like kind of like dragging along. It was like, okay, no, we're gonna finish this and read it because it was good. The first thing that I thought, because like it starts right away in the past, right? It starts in her past. And I was like, I'm confused. I don't understand. And you were like, just keep reading because I was like, I don't know who this nightmare person is. And I thought that that was gonna be the love interest, and I was low-key disappointed when it was not. Not gonna lie.
Yeah. I honestly didn't know. Like I didn't know because I could see that, but then also I was like, it's in her head. So like how could it be a love interest? I don't know. I was confused. I was very confused at the start.
Listen. Okay, wait. Okay, I'm gonna go back. I'm all over the place. For those who are listening, if you haven't read this book, do not listen to this. Go read it and then come back. Second of all, let's just set the scene. Obviously, if you're listening to this, you know what One Dark Window is. But to remind you, it's about this girl named, I can never remember,
Elspeth Spindle.
Yep. And it has the infection. Is that what they called it?
Yeah.
You don't know that right away though, do you? Like I don't think that like it was like you understood that she had something, but you didn't know it was the infection or whatever. Yeah. And then it's kind of just about her life and the cards, which I was like, is this some sort of like blackjack situation? You know what I thought of? Do you know what I thought of? I thought of, I don't remember the name of the book, but the ARC book that we read where the gangs were card names.
Oh,
That's what I thought about.
that dark romance one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is literally what I thought of, and I'm like, I don't like this. Like, I'm so confused. Because,
Okay.
like, I'm like, what are the cards? Like, and I still to this day don't, like, I understand, but I don't understand. I'm like, what? Like, I get it, and it was kind of genius, but at the same time, I'm like, because some of the cards weren't mentioned. And so I'm like, I don't get it.
I think all of them are mentioned at least once, but they didn't use all of them. I don't
Yeah,
think.
like the black one and the golden egg or whatever.
Yeah.
Anyways, that was my little tangent. So this book was about Elspeth Spindle and her life living with this infection that you find out later, while also being possessed by this nightmare.
Yeah.
That's what she calls it. I don't even know how they describe it in the thing, but okay. It's Maiden Monster Martyr is basically what it's about. So, and it's kind of like you're figuring out all these things about the world that you're like, okay, this is not how that's supposed to be. And she's kind of also figuring that out while you're reading it. So, anyways, I will be done on my tangent.
Okay. Okay, so every single time Nightmare would talk, I was thinking like it reminded me of Taryn from Fourth Wing.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Okay. I can
So
see that.
that's kind of what I was thinking of. Like she called it a nightmare, but I didn't really see him as a villain. Maybe like
Really?
anti-hero. Like he did some things like that were bad kind of, but usually it was to like protect her. So I really didn't see him
Really?
as like the villain. I was just like, okay, there's something off with this nightmare thing, but like he's not the worst person ever.
Really? Okay, from the start I was like, this is the villain, but I was like, it's gonna be an enemies to lover situation. Because I was like, somehow, like, okay, also hot take. I thought that it was one of the prince's voices in her
Oh,
head.
okay. Yeah.
That's what I thought at first.
Yeah.
Because I was like, especially when she met them for the first time at the ball or whatever it was. It's not the ball, but whatever the crap it was.
Mhm.
And like, then they like pulled her aside, or Raven like took her to the whatever it even was, the cave or whatever crap it was. I don't even remember. I was like, okay, they've been manipulating her this whole time, like since she was 11 and had the nightmare, and they're the nightmare. Like that's literally where my brain went. So I was like, okay, it can be enemies to lovers. And then I found out I was wrong.
Yeah, my brain
So,
did not go there, but that's okay. But it's interesting. It's interesting to like see that how like both of our brains went like completely opposite directions.
pretty huge, actually, though. Like,
Yeah, but that's like readers in general. Like none of us have the same experience reading a book.
no.
It's all different.
Well, we can have a similar experience at the end of a series, but for specific books, no.
Yeah.
Like, there are specific books for me that I'm like, that emotionally like drained me, and you're like, you're fine. Like,
Yeah.
it was fine. Or vice
Or it's
versa.
the other way around.
Yeah. There are books that you're like, so that like hurt me, and I'm like, it was actually an okay book. So
Yeah. Okay, speaking of the characters, I wanted to say princes, but it's not the princes I want to talk about right now.
okay.
Amori Yew. Is that how you say their last name? Yew. It's Yew.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Who are you talking about?
Raven's brother, the one that has the infection that was slowly dying.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So when he first showed up, like at the table, and he was like talking to Elspeth, and like, you know, they're getting along, and then he was acting weird, and then like she left, and he like followed her. I was like, what's going on? I was very concerned, and I was like, is he the bad guy? Like, is this like bad? And then when the shadowy figure like pushed him down, I'm like, that's the MMC right there. That is 100% the MMC. He didn't even say a word yet, and I was like, that's the MMC.
Okay, but listen. Okay, so after we did that one episode a couple weeks ago where we were talking about how all MMCs show up and it's like this dark, shadowy figure, then when I read that, I was like, okay, now I'm sad because now I know who it is. Like, there's no guessing, and I'm like,
but that's fine by
this
me, because then I can just I can enjoy the moments and not be like, oh my god, like, is he gonna betray her? Like, is this not gonna be good? Am I gonna get betrayed? Like,
no, I need to be fully immersed. Like, I need to feel the betrayal just like the FMC. Like, I need to, like, that is like that person betrayed me to my core. I can't have any speculation of like, or I can't have any confirmation until obviously it's confirmed. I can't. I need to fully experience it.
My brain doesn't let me do that. I'm like always like, hey, this is gonna happen, this is gonna happen, this is gonna happen, and usually it happens.
I think you need to live more with an open mind, actually, and just be more spontaneous with your reading. That's my opinion.
Okay, I'll try.
You won't. Next book that we read, you're gonna text me and you're gonna be like, I already have it all figured out, and be like,
yeah.
Anyways,
so when Ravyn pushed him down, I was like, oh my god, okay, love this. But yeah, I don't even remember what happened after that. Like, she just left, I'm pretty sure.
She just ran away.
Yeah.
And I was like, girl, what are you doing? It was like,
Yeah,
why
also,
are we running away?
Can we talk about how her family situation reminded me of Cinderella?
I didn't even think about that.
Except the stepsisters aren't like evil. They're kind of like naughty, but they're not evil.
Yeah. No, they were just like kind of cranky. They weren't mean. They were also, I thought they were stupid. You know who I thought of? I thought of, this is so bad. I thought of the sisters in Bridgerton, the Featheringtons. That's who I thought of. I was like, they're stupid.
Yeah.
Like, they're dumb.
Oh my god, you need to watch season 3 because there's this because the Featheringtons have a lot more screen time, and there's this one scene that is so beyond funny, and I know you're gonna die laughing at, so I need you to watch it just for that scene.
Listen, I saw a spoiler the other day, which obviously I knew, but like I saw like a spoiler of like a specific scene, and now I'm sad because I'm like, now I don't get to experience that for the first time with all of the build-up.
Well, these are based off of books, so the endings are already known.
Okay, but I don't know it. Again, I see what I'm saying? I don't, except, okay, I'm about to get canceled for saying, actually, am I going to say this? Yeah, I am. I'm going to get canceled for saying this. If you didn't know, Emma knows, and she gets mad at me for it. When I start a book, I read the last page. Every time.
It makes me so mad.
Okay, but what's so funny about that is I do that, and then I get through the book, completely forgot that I read it, and then I get to the end and I read the last page, and I'm like, oh my god, like what? It's like I completely forgot.
Oh my gosh.
So what's the point of me even doing it?
Yeah. But also, like, when I get spoilers for a book that's already been out for so long, or like a show that's already been out for a while, like, I don't get mad because I'm like, I know I'm starting this later. And I'm also chronically online. Like, I'm online all the time compared to you. So I already know what happens to the rest of the Bridgerton siblings. And I haven't even read the books.
What?
Yeah. But I still want to
experience to
build up the tension, like all the inner workings. Like, I know like who they end up with, or like at least one fact about their book.
Okay, it's not hard to see who they would end up with, though.
Well, for season 3, it's not hard.
Season 3, it's not hard. But like Eloise, I have no idea. And then who's the other guy, the other brother, who I do not like?
Benedict?
Yeah, I hate him.
You're gonna get canceled for that.
He stresses me the heck out. Like, his life choices stress me out.
He's just so nonchalant and chill, and he just does not care about anything. And he's funny. Like, he's lighthearted and funny. In season 3, you see more of that as well. I feel like.
I think we just need to do an episode that's not book related where we just flesh out Bridgerton.
Yes, but you need to watch season 3 first.
Okay, well then it's gonna be a hot minute.
Fine.
Because I need to read more before I literally take up all my brain space with Bridgerton. So that was my life for like a month when I binged the first 2 seasons.
It's addictive.
It was bad. It was terrible. Like staying up till like 1 a.m. binging this thing.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
It was terrible. Anyways, we're going completely back. So I thought of the Featheringtons of the sisters. That's what I thought.
Okay.
I also was very confused right away who her dad was. Because like, or like who her mom was.
Oh, yeah.
I was very confused of like who, I don't know. I think I also just kind of speed read through the first little bit because I was like, this is kind of boring. So I didn't speed read, but I was like not soaking it in like who her family was. Cause I was like, I don't really care. Like, where's the FM or the MMC? Like, where's the tension? I'm missing the tension. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Also, her aunt, like her dad did her so dirty sending her away because he didn't want to be like, because he didn't want her to die, obviously, but he didn't want to be like caught up in the whole thing because of the infection and stuff. I'm like, that's so messed up. But her aunt was the sweetest human in the book.
No, she was so sweet. And I liked her. But I was also okay, this is so dumb. And obviously it's a book, so like it's whatever. But whenever like there's books like this one where it's like the infection, it's like, what's the big deal? Like, who cares? Like, why is it such, because it was never fully explained why it was such a big deal.
Well, and it's like stuff in, world building and romantasy books and stuff. It makes sense in the book. Like, if it makes sense in the book, like if you're in the book, then I don't really question it because I'm like, this is their reality. And if this infection is so bad and you can get killed for having all these things, then that's bad.
No, but it's like those things where it's like, okay, it's bad because one person said it. Like that was this case, is one person was against the infection, quotes, and so then everybody thought that it was a bad thing. But it's like, nobody really knows what it is / who came up with it, and B, like, why is it bad? Like, there was never a reason why it was bad. That's my point, is like, there are books like, you haven't read Shatter Me, but like in Shatter Me, it's the same kind of thing. It's like, why, I don't understand why this is a bad thing, but everybody's like, it's a bad thing. Or like in Red Queen, like the difference in blood, like, why does it matter?
Well, because the people who are saying, oh my God, these things are bad, are high in power. So people just follow them and do what they say. And that's the point, is that they have so much power that they control everything. And that's why those people are usually the bad guys.
Listen, I'm just being nitty gritty into the details because when people, specifically like Red Queen in this one, like, it's a fantasy. It's not a romantasy, it's a fantasy.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, so then the infection kept coming up. I'm like, girl's not doing anything wrong. Like, like,
well, yeah, but it's different because they grow up learning that the infection is bad. Like, it's in their brain to think like, oh my God, the infection is so bad.
Right, but also my brain went to, I was like, why is magic bad? I want magic. Like, what? Like, why is magic like, why are we complaining about that? That's where my brain went.
You're not one of the people who can just pick up a book and read it, enjoy it. You nitpick and you're like, this is wrong and this doesn't make sense and this is wrong.
I'm sorry. You can't even go there because you do the same thing.
I theorize. I like to theorize, but I don't really give books like low ratings because I'm like, oh, I liked reading it. Like, it was enjoyable. Like, I'm not like, oh, there was a plot hole here and a plot hole here. There's so many bad things. Like, no.
I'm not that way either. Unless it's like, okay, there's only like 2 books or 2 series that I could not finish. And one of them was like really recent, and it was these violent delights. I could not finish it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't because it was bad. It was just because I'm like, I know this story already. Like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Anyways, I don't nitpick. This one I did nitpick because I was like, why do we care? Like, I want magic. Why are we complaining about magic? That was the only point. Okay. Okay. Anyways, I'm not saying that I hated. I'm not saying that I hated it. I actually really liked it. I wasn't on board with the hatred towards the magic. It's not anything against the book. It's against the characters within the book.
Okay.
And you can agree with that. You hate characters within books sometimes too.
Well, obviously, yeah.
See, that's all I'm saying.
Okay. So, moving on.
That was such a side tangent. Okay.
Okay, how do you say, is it Ion?
Oh, her friend?
Her cousin.
Oh, yeah. Low key, when I read her name, I didn't even comprehend what her name was. I just read it.
I think I pronounced it like Ion, but that doesn't seem right.
Ion. Yeah, that's how I did it.
Ion. Okay, we're just gonna say that, and if it's wrong, my bad. At first, she was giving a ditzy character. She was giving Elaine. She was giving like
She
I
was
didn't.
giving Elaine.
She was giving Elaine. I wasn't here for it. And then when she came out and she had the maiden card, I was like, oh my god, no. Like, no, no,
like,
no, no.
What an idiot.
Yeah. But then I mean,
okay, there's no pronunciation guide. I thought there was gonna be one.
But then, like, as the book went on, especially when she started like defending Elspeth and like covering for her, like when she had her broken wrist or something because of the highwaymen, like they attacked, I was like, wait, what is going on? I couldn't get a read on her. I was like, okay, she was annoying, like, but now she's like covering for her, so I really don't know what's going on, but yet she's still using the maiden card.
I knew from the start when her dad was like, I'm going to basically sell you off to the prince or whatever. I was like, she's going to betray him. Like, she's going to betray Elspeth. Like, I was like, that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, but also I did feel
I made my
bad
peace with
for her.
that.
Like, even in the beginning when like her dad like made that deal, even when I was like, she might still be like excited about it and stuff. I still felt bad for her because her dad literally sold her into marriage. Like, it wasn't.
No, I know. I wasn't okay with it, but I was nervous from the beginning because it always seems like in these books that the not MMC, the FMC has like a good friend from the beginning, and then they always do something stupid.
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, now do I trust you? Like, and I have major trust issues with these kind of characters. So I had trust issues from the start.
Yeah, but when she like helped cover for Elspeth, I was like,
Yeah.
okay. I mean, I may not know exactly what's going on in your mind, but I know you're not like gonna betray her.
Can we also talk about her husband or her fiance or whatever?
Hoth.
Okay. Yes. I thought for a minute that he was going to be the MMC. I thought for a hot second. It was like a split second. Like a split second. I was like, so I thought that Ian was going to like, she had the main card, whatever. They're going to get married off. And then I thought maybe Elspeth's going to try to stop that. And then in that, they're going to fall in love.
Interesting. I hated Hoth because it was like that same, I don't know, supper thing. I don't remember what it was. But when Ion was announced as like being engaged, I guess, to Hoth. And then Hoth goes that same night, a few minutes later, and flirts with Elspeth. And I'm like, what? Like, you couldn't even wait? Like,
see, that's why I was like, it's going to be an awkward situation there for a hot minute. But then, obviously, then that left. That situation left.
Yeah.
But listen, after we found out, it was in the first book still, I think, when we found out that like he was not faithful to her. I was like,
yeah, because they played the game with the chalice card.
That stressed me out so much.
That stressed me out. And the fact that, okay, Ion, when she was like, do you love Ravyn to Elspeth? I'm like, Girl, you did not just out her like that. I'd be so stressed. I'd be like sweating. And then with the fact that Raven's like, it's okay. Like, it's okay. Like, I was like, oh my God.
Listen, no, that actually gave me anxiety. I was sweating and I was like freaking out. I was like I thought I was being asked these questions. Like I thought I was given the truth serum. I was like, oh my God, like I can't.
I know. And then when he entered her mind and she's like, do not do that. And then like Nightmare was like, get out, and he flew out of his chair and he was like, what just happened?
Okay, I low key. Okay, this is gonna be so dumb. But so obviously there was tension between Raven and Elspeth when they were figuring everything out, and they were like, also, can we? Why? All authors out there, fantasy people, why are we pretending? Why are we faking it to make it? Like, let's stop that right now. That's ridiculous. Waste of time. Anyways, we all know you love each other. Stop. Anyways, moving on. The tension between Nightmare and Raven, I lived for that. I lived for it. Whenever they got into it, I was like, this is amazing. I love this.
Yes.
It was hilarious because even though it was like this like high tension, whatever, I was like, this is funny. You guys are literally like siblings, like arguing back and forth over like this chick.
Yeah.
It was just hilarious. Anyways.
But you knew that they both wanted the best for her too, which makes it
right.
Like, adds like a lightheartedness to it.
I just thought it was so funny because Nightmare would literally say the most diabolical things to him.
Yeah.
And Raven just let it happen.
Yeah. Or like, when Nightmare was like, Elspeth said this, and Raven's like, she did not say that.
Yeah. But also the fact that, okay, I questioned Raven a little bit when he was so manipulated by Nightmare when he was like, do this, or like, Elspeth won't kiss you ever again, or like, she won't love you ever again. I was like,
no, but then
that's
Elspeth
so dirty.
Apologize. Which is so funny. Because he's like how many years old? Hundreds and hundreds of years old. And Elspeth has him apologizing. Anyways, I want to go back. And before I forget, two things. One, after the ball, supper thing, whatever, it was like a day after, okay? And she was running through the forest for some reason, I can't remember why. And Raven was like there, and like they were arguing, and he like covered her mouth or something, and it was like, be quiet, like these people are gonna hear you. That scene lived for. I lived for it. And then when he took her to the cellar and like, you know, the whole thing, that was crazy. Learning like he's actually like betraying the like Hoth and his dad, what's his name? Jesper.
Jesper's a sister.
Not Jesper. Elm was also part of it, and Jesper, I guess. And like, you know, all these people are part of it. But then when they're like, how are we gonna get her to come with us? Like, how can she help us without it being sus? And so I can't remember who said it, but someone's like, Raven could, you know, be courting her. I freaked out. I'm sitting in a chair and I just like jumped up so fast. I was like, oh my God.
It was the fact that she was listening through the door too, though. That part made it chef's kiss because I was like, me too. Like, same.
This is such a common trope, but I eat it up every single time. Every single time. The fake dating, fake marriage, all these things. Like, I will never complain. I will celebrate those tropes every single time.
You're like, I live for it. No. Well, I just am so like, okay, clearly even before that, he had feelings for her. And I'm like, why are we pretending? Like, he was like, no, like, I have to be like civil. Like, it's not okay. And he was like denying it. It's like, what are you doing? Who do you think you are? Like, stop. We all know. Like, even your sister knows. We're not stupid. Like, look into the mirror, okay, and just be honest with yourself. That's all we care for. Like,
I just don't understand how both of them thought that nothing would happen when they already have this much tension in 2 days. They're like, oh, we're gonna live together. Nothing's gonna happen, girl.
Yeah, what? Dude, but this scene lives rent free in my brain. The scene where where he's like, I need to show you something, okay? And they go to the grave or whatever it is. I was a little nervous that he was gonna kill her or like betray her. I was a little nervous. I was so nervous. I have trust issues, okay? Can you tell?
Yeah,
I
I
was
can.
so nervous. Anyways, when they got there and they did the like blood thing, whatever, okay? And like stop, okay. And then I knew it was YA, so I'm like, this is not gonna go very far. But basically they both just like stopped and were like, okay, this is not pretend anymore. And then they had to stop because they got caught or something, or Nightmare didn't allow it. I don't even remember. I just remember being pissed. I just remember being so mad. Or she ran away. She ran away.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, because she saw Nightmare's like visions and it scared her because she saw that, and then he was worried that he did something wrong. And I'm like, no, you didn't do anything wrong.
That pissed me off when she ran away. I was like, what are you doing? Stop.
I can't remember how they led up to sleeping together. I can't remember like how that came to be. I just remember the morning after at the kitchen table at like breakfast. That scene was so hilarious. Because Jasper saw Elspeth sneaking out of Raven's room and she's like, and Elspeth's like,
Okay, that I knew that would happen the next morning. I was like, you're gonna get caught, girlfriend. Like, you're not sneaky in any way, shape, or form. Like, no way you're not gonna get caught. Which it didn't matter because they already knew, like everybody knew.
yeah.
Every character in the book knew that it was gonna happen. But it was just like it was just so funny because she's sneaking around. It's like, why? Like, we all knew.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, also, can we just talk about I'm gonna skip to the end of One Dark Window. But when her uncle,
Yeah.
whoever, yeah, it was her uncle, was like, I need to talk to you or whatever, and then led her up to the top of the tower where Hoth was or whatever. And okay, I know how much you love the scene or you hate the scene where Kai was too late to the wedding. This
I
was
hate that scene
okay.
with a burning passion.
I know. I'm saying this was that level when Ravyn was 10 minutes away.
Okay.
I freaked out. Okay.
Yeah. I have a hot take. I don't know if it's a hot
Okay.
take. I didn't know what I wanted to happen. I didn't know. I was like, okay, option A, he comes and he rescues her, but yet he gets caught and his whole family gets caught, and then they like they might like die for this or something, right? For betraying the Cane and Hoth. I was very concerned because that was Hoth's plan, right? Like I didn't want Hoth's plan to become true, like happen. And on the other hand, I'm like, but Elspeth needs help, like, but yet she was like deteriorating, and the nightmare was like getting stronger and stronger. And I'm like, Ravyn can't even help with that either. So I honestly didn't know what was going to happen, and I didn't know what I wanted to happen.
I was stressing. Okay, stressing because I was like, kind of same because I'm like, I don't want Ravyn to show up, and then them get caught. But at the same time, I'm like, I think I made my peace with the fact that Elspeth was gonna die or be taken over by. So like, in my brain, I'm like, she's gonna be taken over by the nightmare, and then it's actually gonna be the nightmare story in book 2, which it really was.
Yeah.
But then I was like, that's how it's gonna end. Like, I never thought we'd get Elspeth back.
I did think we'd get Elspeth back though.
I didn't.
Because I figured that Nightmare would take over, but I'm like, there's going to be a way to get her back. Because they were going to try to heal Amori, right? If they get all the cards and all the things. I'm like, they can heal Elspeth as well. But going into book 2, I was kind of thinking, where's the romance going to come from? Because Nightmare has Elspeth's body, and then Ravyn. And
dude,
it was so good. I was not even disappointed. I was like, I love this. Like, I love this.
So, you know how I don't like I don't care about the side characters. I care about the main. No, this series, like book 2, I did not care about Raven and Elspeth. I literally put in like no thought into them. All I cared about was Elm.
Yeah. And Raven and Elspeth's relationship had already formed. Like it was already done. Like it was the plot of the book. Like they were trying to save, a lot of people. Like that was the plot, and I was fine with that. I was like, I want them to end up together, obviously, but I don't need every single scene to be about them or like Nightmare and Raven.
Yeah.
So when it was Elm and Ion, I was so happy because in book 1 there was at least one scene, I think maybe 2, where they focused on Elm looking at her or like laughing at, or she was laughing at something he said. And I was like, I feel like that's gonna become something, but I wasn't expecting a full on like first person POV into it, which I was so happy we got.
Dude, the scene when they were in the wine cellar or whatever that first time, and because he was like, I'm just trying to help her find the mating card. Which, first of all, how stupid do you have to be to lose that? Anyways, that's beside the point. She was drunk and whatever.
She was drunk and she was controlled.
I don't care. Don't lose that. You're stupid.
Alexis,
I thought you were stupid.
He was controlled by her controlling fiance. Like she had no other options. What do you mean?
No, listen.
What do you mean? He forced her to get drunk, so drunk that she couldn't remember anything. Then he forced her to hide it and forget about it.
I know. Okay, forget what I just said. I'm sorry. Elm never used that on her. Never used the scythe card. Scythe? Yeah, the Sith card on her.
Yeah.
Never used it. Though I wanted him to.
The way that she used it on him. He was so.
I was like.
No, yes. But I found myself looking forward to the scenes when they were looking for the mating card. Like when it was Elm's POV, I'm like, thank God. Not that I didn't like Raven's or Elspeth's, but Elm's was my favorite in the Twisted Crowns.
Well, because I was waiting for the moment where, because clearly you knew where his head was at. You didn't know where hers was at because clearly she was engaged. So even though to a bad human being. So, I was a little nervous about that one.
Yeah, and she had other priorities, like the maiden card, like messing with her mind. Like that was sad.
It was sad. But when they did the chalice card, right? With the truth. Mm-hmm. Yeah, when they did that the first time in the wine cellar, and they were talking about the maiden card, and then they definitely weren't talking about the maiden card.
Yeah.
And I think she asked, like, do you think I'm beautiful or something? And then he went on his whole spiel. Okay. And then XYZ happened. And then they got caught.
No, it's so funny because I can't remember the guy's name, but it was like a guy that's like, I'm going to say like their inner circle, basically.
It was one of the healers.
Yeah, but it was like the one that's on their side.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like as bad. But it was still like, oh my God. And then she ran off, and then I was like, oh my God.
I was like, why do these girls keep running? Why are we running? Why are we going? Why are we running away? Why do we keep leaving?
I don't know.
I wouldn't leave. Why do we keep running away?
I don't know. But the fact that can we just talk about Elm, how Hoth literally tortured Elm when he was younger? And Elm's like, I don't want him to wake up. Like, I now know the maiden card heals. Also, Hoth trying to kill Ion, pushing her out the window. That was insane. That was
literally.
That caught me so off guard.
The backstory when we got that, I was like.
I was so. Yeah.
Dude, there is no redeeming character for Hoth.
No, I knew he was bad, but then we got that, and I was like, holy shit. And then he came back to life. He, like, figured it out that she was alive, and I'm like, oh my God. I
so thought he was gonna die, and then when he, like, showed up and, like, was like, so this is what you're doing with your time now to Elm. I was like,
I was
the
so
hatred I have for you
because
is so strong.
that was right after Ion and Elm like had their cute moment under their tree and like, you know, and they're so happy. They're like, we're gonna announce our engagement tonight. Oh, and then when he sat on the throne. Oh my god. I was like, ah!
Anytime that there's a throne and that's it's gonna be good.
Yeah. But then they went out to like a tree, like the forest or whatever, and they had
The
that
willow tree.
yeah, I was like, that's so cute. And they were so happy. And they're like, yes, we're gonna announce our engagement because Elm figured out like in the contract. I was like, he's smart. He is smart.
When he figured out that it could be, because that whole time when he was figuring out with the king and whatever, I was like, you're gonna get yourself in some deep trouble there, friend. And then when he figured it all out, I was like, I've highly underestimated you.
No, because
Highly.
and when they showed like the contract, what it said, and he was like, yes, like so excited. I read that and I'm like, I don't know what you know, but you seem to be happy about it. So I didn't understand until like until like they actually revealed it.
Oh, same. I didn't even going back to like Raven and Elfbeth, that whole thing, like when we're slowly in the past figuring out whatever, and like I would just like to say it out loud also. I called it. I called it. When I texted you, when I got to page like 157, you were still ahead of me. I was like, the nightmare is the Shepherd King. And you didn't know yet either. I was like, I have a feeling. I called it. Okay. I never get anything right when it comes to theorizing for books. So I called it. Okay. Before you did. Would
Yeah.
just like to say that out loud, putting that in my trophy case. Okay. But when we were learning more about his past, I was like, I don't even feel bad for you. Like, or no, I'm not even like against you. I just feel bad for you. And I felt bad for his kids.
Yeah, for sure his
Like,
kids, especially when they died, like when they were killed. That's sick.
dude, this book just kept getting darker and darker and darker. I was like, there is no redeeming of this book. Like, this is just sad.
Yeah.
Like, it just kept getting darker. And then at the end of Two Twisted Crowns, that was wild. Wild.
Yeah.
All of it. Wild.
Because when they had the plan and the Shepherd King Nightmare was like, I have a plan, guys, like it's all gonna be good. And then they started the plan, like, sweet, love this. They have a whole plan, you know, and then the plan went out the window pretty fast. Raven got stabbed, and I'm like, okay, this is great. That's great.
Yeah. Well, it also made me very, I think it was even in his POV that like they mentioned this, like it was like the end of One Dark Window when he was too late to come save her and he got stabbed. So it was like, he's going to be late. Like he's not going to be able to be there to save her again.
Yeah.
And then it's just going to end.
Also, when he told the king, his dad, and the king's like, you were my favorite son, but not anymore. And then he gets on the card.
Listen, I was also just confused the whole well, okay, no. I kind of got it because it was like in like reality, right? If you're playing a game of cards, you want to have all the cards.
Yeah.
You want to, in your arsenal, you want to hold all the cards. So it's like, okay, I get it. But at the same time, I'm like, when that one card that they were going to find is in the middle of nowhere or not in the middle of nowhere this whole time they had it or whatever, I was like, what? When they got to the place, I don't remember the woods or the forest, and Raven went off with that like ghost thingy, queen thing, spirit thing, and she was like, say your real name. I was like, no, like, no, let's not. Like, no. I was
I wasn't that surprised by it. I
I
honestly,
w-
I kind of already figured that it was true, but that just confirmed it for me because Amori said something along like, "Oh, he thinks that they were related to the Shepherd King," and they had said that for like years. Like that was just something Amori was like, "Yeah, we're related to the Shepherd King," and the whole family's like, "No, like that's not true or whatever." So when she said that they were, I wasn't surprised.
Listen, I just wasn't expecting that's who he was. Like that's what his real name was.
Okay.
Like I was just like, wait, what? Like I had to reread that chapter because I was like, what? Like what? Jump scare? What? Like no, that's not right. Try again. Take two. I need no. I was expecting a different outcome the second time I read it. No, not that it changed that much, but at the same time, I was like, what does this mean for him and Elspeth? Like, what does that mean? Like,
Nothing.
well, but I'm like, is it gonna change how he sees himself? Like, is it gonna change how? Like, I don't know. I was just nervous, is all. I get nervous about the stupid things. I trust issues. I don't. I was stressing. Okay, I was stressing. That's
I
all.
would pay
Anyways,
so much money for us to read the same chapters at the same time and just see our different reactions because I'm just gonna be over here chilling, just like, whatever. You're gonna be so stressed, and then it's just gonna be the opposite. Like,
here's here's the thing though. I'm very expressive when I'm reading. You're expressive when you're telling me about it. So like you'll read this chapter and you'll just be like reading it, just chill. But then when you go and send me a voice message about it, you're like, oh my God, this happened and this happened. And I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. And what not? Like that's
yeah,
all I'm gonna say.
that's true.
I'm expressive while I'm reading it. Except when I'm reading like smutty scenes, I'm like so like the book does go up to here, but I'm like this.
No, yeah. And I can, like, that's me too. But then when I realize I'm reading this smutty scene, then I'm like, I start laughing because I'm like, oh, like people probably like I'm in public right now, I'm reading it, and then I laugh at the fact that I'm reading it in public, but it's not like when I'm just entranced in the smutty scene, it's just blank face. Like I'm just like
I think that we should when oh God, maybe not the next Fourth Wing book, but maybe when the next Akatar book comes out, we should just read it like chapter the same time and see what happens.
you're gonna read so much faster than me, and then you're gonna get so mad that I'm reading so slow.
That is so accurate. Actually, let's not.
Yeah, let's not do
It has
that.
to be a book that we are not that invested in.
Yeah, no.
We should read this one at the same time.
Yes. Also, okay, going back to One Dark Window.
No.
When Jesper had to like lose her mind in order for them to find that last card, I was a little worried that she would be gone. But then I was thinking, I feel like she was gonna survive somehow. And then when she came out, I don't know if you noticed this or not, but Peter, their friend, he was very worried about her. And I'm like, and they had some banter. So I'm thinking maybe there's something between them.
But the series is over.
You know, but it's just like fun to think about. Like, I wonder if I ship them, because I want everyone to have a happy ending, right? So like Elm and Ion, Jesper and Peter, Ravyn and Elspeth.
I didn't notice that. I did
I know
think it
you
was a little.
You don't care. You usually don't care about side characters.
I just thought that it was a little dumb. Maybe it's not the when they were deciding who was going to be the person to do that. It was like, why are we like kill off Peter? Nobody cares about him. Like, why are we making this so hard?
Well, Ravyn did try to do that because it was,
Yes, I know.
and then
I'm
Jess was
saying
like, "You are not doing that," and then she just made the decision.
that's what I'm saying. Jesper was stupid.
Yeah, but if you have to think about it in their world, Peter is one of them. He does all these highwaymen tasks with them. He's hunting these cars with them. His brother died on this trip too. Like they're all like really close to each other. So in their world, they don't want anyone to die. For us, like readers, yes, we don't know like anything about Peter, but to them, it's a hard decision.
I know. My point is that I don't know. I feel like Jesper would have known that it would have been figured out and it would have been fine. Like, I think it was because it would have been different if she wasn't worried about him. Because
Yeah.
clearly, now that you bring that up, there was clearly feelings and thoughts there. So if there wasn't, I feel like it would have been an easier decision.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm. Okay, one more thing I want to mention, at least one more thing, is when they came out of that forest area and Jesper touched Ravyn and they made some comment about his nose or something, and he said he felt like a weird thing about his nose because his nose is broken, right? And the nightmare fixed it, but then after that they made some weird comment and then they just left it. And I was so confused. Even at the end of the book, I was so confused. I was sitting in bed and I was like, they never like talked about. Well, I was so confused. And then I figured out that it was because his nose was healed because of Jesper's powers that she got because she was a Taxis. And that's how she heals Ravyn. Because she has the same powers as Nightmare's daughters did.
That's wild. What? The things that you notice and the things that I notice, clearly.
I'm very observant. I would consider myself like, a wallflower type thing. Like I just kind of sit back and I'm just like observe everything. So that's me when I'm reading. I'm just like very.
Are you sure?
Yes, 100%.
That's wild.
Yeah, because even after, like, when I finished the book, I was thinking they didn't even talk about that again. And a day later, I figured it out because I kept thinking about it.
That's insane. Whoa. Okay. Well, the more you know.
Yeah.
I would like to say, I know the series is over, but I would die for a novella of before, like before. Like obviously we got a little bit of that with the Shepherd King, but like way before that. Like just about him. And then I want one about Elspeth's childhood, but like not at the same time, like how all that like played out. Like I think like a novella for this series would be really good. I loved this because not at the beginning, like halfway through the first book, I was like, I wonder if this is kind of like a Fourth Wing situation where it's a retelling of something that has already happened. So like this is Nightmare's story, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or the Shepherd King's story through Elspeth. Like this is all in the past. This already so basically, I mean, it didn't say that, but it did. It basically said, I was more than the girl, the king, and the monster of Blunder's dark, twisted tale. I was its author. That's from Elspeth's POV. Like that ending, I was like,
And that riddle, I was so confused the whole time. And then when I realized that it was actually about them.
you didn't realize it was about them that whole time?
No, I thought it was about like his past. Like he was telling her a story, like a life lesson of something in his past.
The girl, the king, and the monster they became.
Yeah.
You didn't realize that, dude. The first time that came up, I'm like, it's them.
No, I kind of thought it was like in his past, like his wife or something. This is before like we got his past. I was like, was that like his wife? And it was like a tragic story or something.
Oh my god. I love that you didn't know that, right? I was like, duh, it's her. She's the girl, duh. He's the monster, so he must be some king, which is why I was like Shepherd King. And then the monster.
Yeah,
I knew it.
I didn't know that.
Well, that's unfortunate for you.
Says you who didn't get like half of the things I did. Okay, let's not even go there.
I got the one. Okay.
Would you rate this book? I think we should start doing that. Like, what would we rate it?
The entire series?
Mm-hmm.
Out of what? 5?
Yeah.
3.5.
Really?
I don't want to say. Well, I was thinking 4, but I'm like, I want to say 4 for like I would rate like here's how I'm thinking. I would rate Fourth Wing at 4 out of 5.
See, I'm very generous with my ratings.
I'm not.
So
Clearly.
I would rate this one like 4.5. I really like this series. Like, I really
That's like putting it on Powerless level.
No, but I also give books a lot of 5 stars. Like Powerless, Fourth Wing, ACOTAR, all 5 stars. Because, okay, here's my brain. 1, if I enjoyed reading it, I'm going to rate it a 5-star, okay? And also, I know that people, like these authors, put so much work into it that I don't want to rate it a bad star. Like, I would just
don't think 3.5 is bad.
But
that's above average.
Yeah, I rated. There was one book that was like a rom-com that I read one time, and I rated it like 3 stars, and I did not like it at all. But I didn't want to rate it lower because I'd feel bad.
Listen, I would rate it 3.5, and that's even me being generous. And the only reason why I wouldn't go higher is A, because it was YA, and B, because there are books that I've read like that are 4 or 5 stars to me that I've read that I actually almost think about every single day, and I can remember every single thing that happened in it, and I was fully invested. Not that I was fully invested, but like I was fully invested for when I was reading it. There are other series that I'm like fully invested, like for my life, fully invested into them. ACOTAR, Fourth Wing, maybe not even Fourth Wing, Throne of Glass, From Blood and Ash.
Yeah.
Like, those are like I'm invested for the rest of my life. Like this book, like would I ever reread again? I don't know. Those other ones I would definitely reread again. And I have.
See, you know how I like Dance of Thieves and Six of Crows?
Yeah.
Obviously, like we didn't have the same thoughts when we read it, but I enjoyed reading Dance of Thieves and Six of Crows so much. Like I just had such a fun time reading it. And that's what I felt like with One Dark Window. So like those 3 I would put in the same category for me as like why I would like them.
That's fair. Out of those 3, I would put One Dark Window at the highest.
Okay.
But they're very different. Those books are very different to me. It's like, okay. It's like Shatter Me is probably within that same like group. Okay. But Shatter Me is so special to me because of when I read it and like how it impacted me. You know what I mean? It kind of just depends also, I think, on when you read it. Like you read
Dance of Thieves.
Dance of Thieves, like right when you were like getting into your book journey. So it's like, okay, obviously it's very special to your heart. Same thing with like ACOTAR to me. Like I read it way before it became a trend. Okay. You know, same thing with Shatter Me. Like I read it before it was popular.
Yeah.
So it's very special to me.
And that's me with the Inheritance games too, because the Inheritance games and Dance of Thieves were 2 series that like really got me into reading.
Yeah. See, I think it just depends. Like obviously this was a really good duology, and I'm glad that we read it, and I don't know why we pushed it off for so long. That was dumb of us. But I'm not gonna be like, this is the best book ever. I'm gonna reread it. Like whatever. But I was like, I'm very grateful that we read it, and I do think that it'll be brought up in future like conversations that we have. Like there are some books like Dance of Thieves, we never talk about it. Even though it's like special for you, it's not for me. So we never talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
My dog's barking. Anyways, sorry. Anyways, so that's 3.5. You're giving it a 4?
4.5.
4.5. That's so high.
No, but I like rating high.
Are you comparing it? Like, are you like
I don't really compare books when I read it. I'm not like, okay, so this is like on this level, so I'll give it like a 5 or like a 4.5 or whatever. It's just like me after I read it, how much I enjoyed it in that book, not comparing it to anything else.
Listen though, if you give like Akatar and Powerless and Fourth Wing 5 and you're giving One Dark Window 4.5, that's saying something.
Okay, but all of my favorite books are all 5s. Like Akatar, Fourth Wing, Powerless, Throne of Glass, I would say. What else?
From Blood and Ash?
Yeah, From Blood and Ash. The Inheritance Games.
This is so funny to me because because you're so like, I think it also depends on when you read it too, because like Lightlark, when you finish Skyshade, you're like, this is the best book ever, and you love Lightlark, but we never talk about it.
No.
Ever. We never talk about it.
Yeah. But also, we read so many books that my brain just like gets them confused sometimes, and I'm like, there's so many, like there's a scene in this and there's a scene in this, and I honestly don't even know what's happening. So that's kind of me with like Lightlark. Like I'm like, I remember different scenes, but it's not like Akatar where I can point out an exact scene, an exact quote, you know, like.
Which is so okay, so this is what's funny about that. So we went into earlier where you're like, I'm an observant person, I see all these things, and I'm just reading it for a good time. But then after the fact, I'm like, I can tell you exactly what happened in every single chapter of even this book, like One Dark Window. I can like lay it all out for you, even though we didn't. I can lay it all out for you. It might not be pretty, but I can go, here's what happened in this book. Here's what happened in Lightlark. Here's what happened in like Trials of Sun Queen. Like all those books, even though I didn't rate them 5 out of 5, I can still tell you exactly what happened in every single one of them.
I cannot do that at all. At all. I cannot do that unless we talk about it like constantly, you know, like Akatar and Fourth Wing, we talk about a good amount, so I remember a lot of things from that.
Yeah.
But I have such a bad memory just in general. Like I can
Same.
I can learn someone's name 5 times and it still doesn't stick. So it's just like I just have such a bad memory in general. But when I read it, I love reading and I have a good time, and then I rate it, and then a little bit later I'm like, I don't even know what I just read.
Listen, I think that you have really good short-term memory. I have terrible short-term memory. I have great long-term memory. You have terrible long-term memory. I think that's what we're figuring out right now.
Yeah. Also, that's one of the reasons, honestly, the reason I like make so many notes is because I forget so many things. So like afterwards, if I know we're doing a podcast about it, I'll just write down like the characters' names, for example. I'll forget them because there's so many characters that we've read about. Like it will go out the window. If I didn't have this written down, I wouldn't have remembered it. And then I put like descriptions and like main things that happened with each character.
That's hilarious because I'll be like, when I'm reading, I'm like, wait, who is that character again? But then after I'm done reading, I'm like, oh yeah, Peter looked like this and he had this color hair and he liked this person and like this was his life story. Seriously.
Yeah, no,
that's hilarious.
When I read a book, I'm entranced in it. When I in the book, I'm like, okay, moving on. Read another book, entranced in it. Like it's just, yeah.
That's funny. Would you rather Raven or Elm? I know what your answer is, I think. Elm. You would pick Elm.
I would.
See, I think that I would, but at the same time,
he's so sassy. I love it.
See,
he has a heart.
True. Raven was just so caring and not even sensitive, but he was just so like soft with her that I think I would have to choose that.
Yeah, and that just really follows the pattern with every single book boyfriend we choose. That really just makes so much sense.
It's like we literally are not. We're not unexpected. Like that's kind of sad.
And the fact that you knew who I was gonna pick like right away.
I
haven't even said anything to that regard at all to you, and you're like, I know who you'd pick.
Yeah.
And I knew who you'd pick because, like you said, one, I was thinking because he's like mysterious, but yet he's really caring. Like that's you. That's what you need. Because as a girl fan, you know.
So true. Yes, we have a type, clearly.
Yeah. Anyways.
Anyways, this was Reading Between the Lines. Thank you so much for listening.